and one of the quotes was that Surreal has never beaten them on Inferno, and that's like 3 different games, or different maps actually played against them as well. So I feel like the confidence definitely be there. If you just take into consideration, they would probably consider themselves underdogs in this series, even though they are the #1 seed from the group. They've just gone into overtime on your opponent's pick. And they probably should have done a bit better. Obviously they had the 3 opportunities at match point and everything. But all things considered, you're now going into Inferno. What I'm thinking is, when Reflex played slowly on the CT side of things, and obviously allowed pensioners to slowly try to force the error or anything like that, they were able to win rounds. Inferno is a much easier map to play slowly into. I can't help but feel like this is going to be another close contest.
Obviously, some of the games we saw from Neds at the start of the season on Inferno were questionable. Like, things were going wrong, but that was literally the start of really the team's sort of
it was the first week.
trajectory. It was literally getting straight into it. And the entire time we said there was a lot of room for improvement, but that was definitely a strong benchmark. The whole season they've got better and better. Now it's time to show that they're in the prime form. Surreal, he's not looking forward to losing to him this time, Ben. Tries to open it up, pops off the first head, but there's a response from Whisk. Gets himself 2 kills. Marg will have a piece of the action as JKM goes down. And it's all up to Shaney and Luzza now. Left into the 2 versus 4. A rapid flick around from Luzza. Shaney as well, getting involved with the action. As they're left into the 2-on-2. Luzza encroaching up towards the bomb site. They're going to try and take this one back. And open it up for the CT side. Continuing strong from the foot forward they had on overpass. Emmy working by the coffins, wants to put them into an early grave. It's the 1v1. Luzza jumping on the bomb. Looks like he's going to go for the full defuse. Emmy with a reface, spots him, gets the tap out, but it's too late. Luzza, he's defused the bomb.
We saw the instance there, so Luzza, when he actually got into ruins, I'm pretty sure you could tell the difference where JKM said, the kit's in the smoke at CT. And there was an instant turnaround from him, he went straight to that kit, got it. And immediately, as soon as he saw him towards ruins, he was like, okay, I'm just going to stick it. It's quite unlikely that I do stick this in a normal situation, but he probably doesn't think I have a kit. And unfortunately for Emmy, I think he's fallen victim to the classic CT model. When you're crouched down looking towards the bomb, it's very hard to hit the head, right, just from behind as well.
Ooh.
A lot of nade damage.
Yeah, that was horrible. Obviously the Molotov really burning them down to a fairly crispy level. The rest of them just finished off by the SMG. That's actually a way worse way to go out, and they're feeding money over to Shmuya. There is a trade back from Mog. He gets himself 2 kills into the round, but that will be all.
It does mean they can get an AWP on that T side if they do want it. Obviously it'll be glass cannon if they do. However, it's unlikely it will be coming through. Obviously, full AKs. That first round having a plant as well, you can see the difference in what the buy would have been on the 3rd without it. Smoothie on the other side of things does bring in the AWP. And a nade damage, they're actually going to be going aggressive. But in Whisk, he had no chance there at all. But Emmy thankfully trades 2 of them back. So JKM making a separate play in apartments as well. Another SMG.
Ooh.
That's a nice kill to find as well.
Luzza playing close to the wall here, Ben. If they do bypass it without clearing it fully, he should be able to make quick work of them. They did peek into it, they expected it. But Luzza was just fast there on the draw. The outrageous play starting to come into effect as he gets himself to 5 kills. A 3rd round secured as well for the pensioners. It's a good start on their CT side.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. I mean, the AUG, when it's within a certain range, it is 100 damage to the head anyway. So it's basically the same as peeking into an AK at that range. It's just going to be a fast second mid to mid by the looks of things. Although they have slowed down as they reach the top of second mid. Double arch setup in play as well, with JKM towards the apartments. So the question is, will it be more of a burst or will they contact all the way up? So 1 flash and they're just running straight up quad, and JKM's all alone here.
Ooh. Jake's actually a bit of a horrible spot there. Dropped out the Molotov that has done way more damage than I expected it to. And it's been a very easy convergence for them to actually punish the rest of the remaining teams. Whisk and Emmy, the only 2 that remain. Luzza just goes all in, swings his way back onto the site and takes them down in a matter of seconds. And that is going to be the 4th round one very quickly.
Yeah, all things considered, JKM still getting 2 kills and a lot of damage down, because he did get those grenades off.
It was a good use of the molly. He was able to get it out, obviously, just as the push came round. And to be fair, I thought they were just going to get straight through it, but they took an awful lot of damage from that. Isolated them as well.
Yeah, I think it was the separation between those first 2 people that JCam peaked,
Yeah.
and then the next 3, there was a huge gap by looks things. When realistically, there shouldn't really be. I mean, because they were quite grouped at mid before the initial burst. So this, just on the basis of things, if you consider that the B side of the map will have Surreal and Smooya, surely in your mind you're thinking, we go towards A. If we can avoid Smooya, great. If we can avoid Smooya and Surreal in the same bomb site, surely we prioritize A as much as we can.
Yeah.
Right, it's obviously not started off too great because they've been taken down by Smooya. The kill he actually got then was kind of unreal as well. Looking for even more now as well. Tagged through the corner. Quite an unlucky one. Very unfortunate for Marg as well, trying to walk out and get any kind of kill back for his team. So a 3v5, Whisk incredibly low as well. They haven't even tested this quad set. I believe Luz's booster on the balcony. Shady peeking just the right time, gets the kill onto Whisk, should be able to make more, but only damage thus far.
Laza waiting in the elevated angle. Was hoping to be able to deal some death from above, but they're not going to come towards him. Instead, they go round towards Archside, smoke it off. Oh, the face from mid though, Surreal. He'd gone for the banana push, Ben, had complete control towards middle, just scoped in, holding the angle. They crossed by him, and that's a 5th round achieved. Pensioners really starting to rack these up. Reflex going for a pause once again to try and slow things down. It's good we are actually seeing them using their pauses. You know, a lot of the times we do have teams that will just get stuck in the rut and not think about it from the outside. That could also be the benefit of having Shiki there. Sometimes when you are in that moment, you think there physically is nothing we can talk about. With Shiki, he will still always take that pause.
Yeah, it's the same actual scoreline we had in the first map as well. Same 5-0. We've had 2 buy rounds. We'll go from there. Typically, I like to think you should probably try and get the 3 buy rounds in. At least if you've done something different each time, at least then you know, well, we've tried these 3. What about now? What should we do now?
Yeah.
Nevertheless, though, into this round, another buy round coming through for Reflex. We'll see how this one does play out. The Molotov top banana being used. JCMX knows not to challenge that actual angle this time. Because even if it is Molotoved, he can still peek behind it, depending on where you've landed it. Double lap setup. Shaney got an SMG though. So chances are, I'm surprised they haven't spammed towards that area. Because typically when you are in apps, it's quite common to just spam it.
Laza with a first. Shaney should be able to stop this boiler burst. There was actually a bit of a team attack coming through as well. And he hits them with the assault from the rear. They weren't ready for it. It's a 3K picked up.
Dink as well.
Dink down on a Whisk. He's just left on 18 HP. There's not going to be too much he can do. Can this terrorist cause some trouble? Makes his move round towards the balcony, and timing could be in his favour. There is actually a gap forming. But JCam, will he start to delve back, Ben? Everyone's rotating off. They're leaving this side completely exposed. The only opportunity of attack that wasn't covered was balcony, and JCam's not heard it. Luckily, Smooya begins to rotate back around, spots out Whisk. So they do deny the kill. And that is not going to be a bomb plant for them either, or else it's going to be a little bit more hair-raising.
Yeah, Shaney ever so close to actually getting all 4 kills there. Ultimate strike at the correct time, of course. One of the few players we've seen actually bringing up the M4 still as well. And actually the M4 silence one as well. I was going to say, they got stuck for quite a while there on the boost, just because the ground is not completely level there. There's a slight rise, which means if you are the lower person trying to run away, you won't be able to do it very cleanly.
Look at the confidence though for the Reface. They're hungering for the frags here, and Surreal is just claiming them one by one. He is cutting off the head. Smooya, it's a bit of an awkward fight, but he just keeps trying to go back for more, the double dip. And Pension is getting a 7th round, confident, reaching sky high every time as well, because they're just gunning for it now, Ben. A double AWP setup also coming out to play, with Laza rocking the 2nd.
I think a big part of this issue for the map so far is the fact that Reflex having to start on that T side.
Yeah.
So just in general, like you mentioned the regular season performances from them. Week 1, there was the game in CX, wasn't there? And that was a 10-1 scoreline at one point. And it ended about 16-12, I believe. Which, that shows how much of a comeback they must have made on the CT side to make that score look respectable. However, in this instance, we're already looking 7-0, potentially into an 8. Luz are now picking up the orb. We haven't seen him actually do that too much on this lineup. That was always one of the kind of crazy concerns, right? Because all things considered, you've got multiple players who can just pick up the orb. Speaking of players with the orb, Mog on his own now in a 1v4. Luz 2 kills to his name, Smooth with 1. Awkward round because you don't really want to save.
No.
You kind of need rounds, but at the same time it's like you've got 55 seconds if you want to save. Ooh. However, that's giving him a chance.
Check him down. Lazar should just be holding this angle with the orb though. As soon as he gets there, scoped in, ready to do it. Easy bicep curl. Easy frag secured there for Joe Ducky loose. Another pause coming through from Reflex though, Ben, making full use of them now as they already pop out their second.
Yeah, it could be the system of playing 2 buy rounds each time and then finding out if something's changed. So, for example, they on that 5th, 5-0, you had 6-0 as a buy, 7th was eco, 8th buy. And obviously things haven't changed too much. The closest round they had was technically the pistol. And that was, imagine how different the game might have been if they'd won the pistol. And Emmy actually was able to get, the back of the player's head when he was defusing that bomb. But ultimately, Pensioners 8-0 up right now, and Reflex, the only player really showing up is Emmy. And he's got 9 kills. Behind him is 4 kills from Mog and Whisk, 2 on JC Max, 0 on Casa.
The sad is as well, it feels like Cass has been quite quiet. And normally he's one of those players that overall has quite a meaty role to him. He normally tends to be pretty consistent in his actual overall damage, but it's just not coming out today, which is a shame. We need to see a little bit of the action. Shaney, forced off back towards Arch, ignites everyone. Easy hold of the angle as well to pop the heads off with the M4. Goes back for the re-aggression. They're all being torn to shreds. He's confident for this, Ben. It could be the 5k. It is going to be the ace for him. Lights out.
Does like the easy ones.
Does like the easy ones.
It was kind of amusing to see the lack of commitment from the players there. So first player ran through them all, so obviously he was close enough. But then the second guy, it felt like they were trying to commit just to be okay, just dice the Molotov, whatever. Like this isn't going to work. But it was just him. It was only one player doing it. So another buy ran through for Reflex. Mog has that AWP out, careful at the very least. Gotta be thinking though, what is the game plan here? Because Banana has been incredibly tough to challenge. And unfortunately for them, when they've gone towards mid, they usually get a kill on one of the players, but the other one would react very well. So it's just a case of a waiting game right now. We can see Smoothie was at the top of Banana. Still has his smoke as well, but he doesn't actually need to use it, that's the thing. He's got Surreal at the bottom. He can actually just hold the angle for now. As soon as he gets forced off, sure. I'll probably smoke, try and give you some time. But we're now getting down to that last 50 seconds. Player will be coming out towards mid, but the bomb is at the bottom of T stairs, bear in mind. Which in my mind thinks it's going to be a B play. However, if they walk into a B play here, it can be very bad news.
Ooh. Mog takes down Lazar, Smooyer as well, aggressing.
He normally would aggress on his own though, that's the thing. You probably won't be thinking to check each corner here.
If they rush into this, Surreal, not even going to wait for them to come to him. He takes the firefight head on, but he goes for a little bit more, Ben. Tries to bite off an extra slice and gets punished because of it. And it's all on Shaney. Gets that headshot back off on the rotate, denies the player over towards Arch. J-Chem is essentially out of the round already. He has 1 HP. He has the flashbang to play with. He's going to go back round through Banana. They're coming in with a split-pronged attack. J-Chem, more than anything, has to try and assist, be a bit of a distraction, and utilize that flashbang to try and give him an entry. Casa just got to get a tap off with the AK. Shane, he's already done for. J-Chem will suffer the same fate. Reflex, they get their first round on the board. It took some time, but they have been able to open it up now.
Yeah, very solid round from JCMX. Obviously, you could tell his role was going to be absolutely needed in that round, considering the bomb was the bottom T stairs. If he dies, the round is basically gone. He gets that first on Smooya, then the same thing happens to Surreal. Like, he actually lands that shot. He's ready to battle. Surreal threw that smoke at the wall and then wide swung on it. Like an unusual peak, but very ready for it.
Shaney set up in apartments, waiting for the push to come towards him. The span comes through. Silence, M4 in close range. He goes for the wide swing instantly again. Wanted to try and take the second firefight, and it doesn't really go well for him, Ben. It's a 1-for-1 trade, favouring the T's now.
And this time they do actually commit to just having Smoothie at the top of Banana on his own. JKM gets flashed into apartments there, gets the kill to Emmy, giving themselves a one-man advantage into the round. Luzzer still has that AWP towards the A bomb site as well, holding the classic angle just towards quad from the site. Seen him many a time in this position. Ooh. And he knows just about right when to fall back.
Jacob taken down from his high horse towards the site as well. Whisk gets the entry, but Surreal, sneaky as ever, hits him with a surprise attack. The scoped assaulter dispatches them all. That is going to go 10-1 Pensioners. You would say normally resetting them, Ben, but not really a thing anymore.
Nope, not with the new loss bonus system. So we'll be seeing Reflex go straight back in with another buy. Not a very high utility buy, but still decent nonetheless. And they've used this boost very often, but they still haven't actually had contact from a player, you know, when they've peaked it. Because there was the round where they did actually get rushed, but they didn't actually get contact off that, did they? Very nice opening kill, but I've got to be thinking, what's the game plan in this round from Reflex? Because there's no support for Emmy there. There was no flash being used for him. Nobody there to trade him. Seems like it was just a kill given away. So they're playing 3 towards mid. Luzzer already playing anti-flash. And they're actually planning to just fight mid. Incredibly aggressive. Like, the confidence is completely back for them, as you can tell. But it's just when you're playing Inferno on that CT side, if the other team do not have any set executes that they can rely on or go back to,
yeah,
you see instances like this, where you're relying on picks, you're against a team who know, well, if you guys don't have strats, then we can just sit back and make you make the error. And that's what's being shown right now. 11-1. Pensioners looking like they're going to secure that spot in the grand final.
Doesn't show like there's any signs of them really slowing down. Reflex definitely just asserting dominance right now in terms of the art of losing, Ben, as Pensioners are definitely the one that are on the top dogs. The nade, though, coming in, blowing them to bits as they run in. The shrapnel going to tag them, and the AKs will throw them straight out of the server. Smooya with the easy 3K. JKM gets the final headshot off back on the Casa. 12-1. It's not a pretty sight at the the margin we have right now.
Yeah, it's not an ideal one. Morg will be bringing out the AWP once more. No armor this time either. Haven't seen too much from him in this tier half, but then again, we haven't seen much from most of their players in this half. But they're unable to get an impact in the game. A nice little nade down mid though, does some decent damage. Surreal and Smoothie have had complete control of Banana this entire game. Like, it's not been contested properly once. So Cass is finally going to challenge this. JCam loses the firefight. Machini, this should be an easy trade. Made a bit awkward though. So it just means we've got 3 damaged Ts in this round, who still have a man advantage. So it's very unfortunate for Mog that he was holding such a tight angle right there. See how clumped Reflex are though in this situation. Like, there's 50 seconds left, they're all stuck at mid waiting for these grenades to stop coming. Like, they just keep going. I wouldn't try Shaney peeks behind it. Ooh. He actually gets that kill.
Okay. Well, that was pretty juicy. Rotation coming around. They're going to head up over towards the B site. Smooya getting into position, holding the cross with the AWP. Is smoked off. Doesn't go for the wild pot shot. Instead, just holds for the meantime, sitting on the close angle. They walk into Surreal. It's been so easy for him in this matchup with the Org. Countless 2K rounds.
Bombs in the fountain.
Oh, Whisk, wet feet. Still confidence in the peaks as he goes for the swing around. Shaney, though, on the entry back towards the site. Mog will take him down, and it's all on Luzza. The 1 versus 1, 10 seconds. That bomb plant is going to go down. Luzza will slowly walk his way up. That's the AK to work with. Mog. Hope me you can fake him out. Sit close in the coffins. The flashbang is going to go over. He knows he's towards pool. He spot out his elbow as well. Flick around to the Molotov Ben, but it's extinguished by the smoke. Luzza jumps on it. He should be able to get the shot off, but it's just the leg. The tag's coming through. Both of them now fairly low. It's not much, but he will get the kill in the end, bringing them to a grand total of 2. 12-2, and Mog still the one barely scraping him through on these clutch rounds. Oh.
Some very nice kills found on the CT side, but ultimately, the fact that Mog was actually able to get towards Coffin there and still prevail in that 1v1, even after messing up with the Molotov use, obviously. Smoke was down. Luzza putting that smoke a bit too far as well as the other thing. Ooh, that was very aggressive. So 12-2. Reflex, they could do with all, they need to win this round really. Because so far in the series, they're yet to actually win a pistol. So when you consider that, if they were to lose this half 13-2, you're thinking game over potentially at 14-2. That's not looking great in this one either. Mog gets the trade, 3v3. I would say this round should be in their hands. However, you're against Surreal and Smooya. It's a very good combination of players. Both having very solid games so far.
They've got kits, and they've definitely got confidence for it as well. Surreal. Bullet comes whizzing past him, giving him the information that he needs. Smooya is walking straight into the Lion's Den, but he gets the flick onto the first one, tries to get the adjustment off as well, but JCMX overthrows him. Surreal, as he arrives on the scene of the crime, trying to scope this out, suspect of where they might actually be playing from. JCMX and Whisk, they're in a position to support each other quite nicely as the peak comes around at the same time. Focus too heavily on Whisk, JCMX will get the kill, and Reflex. Another round added, 3 rounds total at the half, Ben. This one's going to be a struggle.
We're at least seeing the players all arrive on the server though. I mentioned Casa, he was 0-9 at one point. He's now on 8 kills, I think he's 8 to... Well, they're all roughly 8 to 14, I think was the average. Yeah, 7-13, 8-14 on 3 of them. So, P250 given Smooya there, by Surreal this time. It's actually been a 4-banana rush right here. So Surreal, the player with the grenades, kind of needs to use them as soon as possible if he can, just in case. Ooh.
They just keep coming, they're just bouncing through the smoke. The dinks were coming out. JCMX is left on 50 HP. Smooya and Jacob. 2 versus 2. Smooya taking the confidence faces, getting the taps off, trying to eliminate them, and they will be able to overthrow the duo face. Oh, Mog as well. Shattered as he'll hit the deck. The 13th round has been set in stone by the pensioners. And that is a rough way to lose it as well.
And that now makes it 4 pistols out of 4.
Yeah.
Pensioners as well. You've got to think, in that first map, if they were to win one of those pistols, how different would it have been?
Mac 10 madness, Ben.
It is Mac 10 madness. And it's actually Reflex buying into this one as well, instead of actually going for... So they obviously made that error last time where they had no head armor on most of their players in the 3rd round buy. This time they've gone for the buy on the 2nd. They do have head armor on a lot of the players.
Mog getting away with the 2nd frag is actually very effective. Whisk as well gets the kill off down onto Shaney. Jacob and Luzza are not really into a prime position now. 1 minute and 13 seconds on the clock. They do still have a Taddy utility to work with. They've got the 1 AK as well on Luzza. They're making their move up towards the A site. CTs are stacked 2 to a site right now. Emmy over by Speedway is slowly wandering back towards Arch though.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of faith in Casa. Although he was one of the players who didn't actually buy fully into the round, for whatever reason. So you imagine how different this could have been if he had grenades on him as well, because you could definitely trust him to be on his own if he had smoke, flash. And they're actually going to walk all the way through CT. Plenty of time. The CT should be aware that this is a potential, outcome.
Yeah.
The former ESL duo in JCam and Lazar. They'll see the player close oranges first, depending on how the angle goes here. Because no matter what, if you're going towards ruins, you'll see that player, but he's actually just pushed through. They shouldn't be expecting the guy first.
The rotation's got to come around, but it's going to be so late. If they find the kills on the site, they might be in more of a chance of taking this one. They force Emi back as well. They've been able to gain the control. They get the bomb down, and JChem finds that kill, surviving on 4 HP. But the important fact is that he's still alive. That is going to be the major nuisance. Keeping himself into the round for as long as possible. They sprint towards him though as he jumps out in towards the pool, slams down, and there goes Lazar as well. JCMX hit him with the just abuse on the site there. A lovely kill to find, and a much needed round saved.
Yeah, very walked around altogether. I mean, the banana take could have done with an extra flash here and there, or potentially more, actual utility used to clear it instead of just running up and trying to take the firefights. But they actually are going to go with a buy. So Shaney, I believe he dropped the AK across the smooth there. He got the deagle back in return. So it's going to be the 3 AKs, 2 deagles. Decent nade down to those bottom, just the one there. As Mog decides to go in for head armor. So the lack of utility could be an issue on that site then. Obviously Casa still has the smoke Molotovs, so he's got decent stuff to play with at the very least. But you've got to be thinking, will he be able to get those grenades off in time if this is a contact player?
It's going to be just that. As soon as they come out, there's no chance of actually utilising that utility. Stuck towards first oranges. Luckily, he has the UMP. It's the one weapon that actually works quite well in a position like this. Jacob will get the spray down back off onto him. 2 versus 3. They can re-smoke over at CT. Armin's going to go down, but they have lost Surreal. Jacob, the big man himself, kind of utilise the full potential of that Rasta Gaming jersey that he's wearing. Starts hitting him with a little bit of the R&R. The Blanks bombardment, that's the first headshot found over onto Whisk. JCMX with a Molotov, but he keeps tapping down. He's ignited though, but he is on fire into the round as well. Sprints round back over to CT. He's on the bomb, but he can't quite see him from this angle, Ben. He needs to get in there right now, but he's missing Jacob. He won't even get the knife kill. Reflex, they get the round. Jake eventually finds the kill, but it's too little too late.
The crazy thing is, you kind of should buy again. If you're on the pension side, you've killed all 5 of them. Right there, the CT economy. Look how many grenades they've actually got into this round. None of them are taking the hit and going for a FAMAS, UMP or anything like that. You're still against 3 full AKs here. And this time it's not even 2 deals, they're Mac 10 as well. I did think for a second that Emmy was going to defuse just slightly outside the smoke there, thinking, I'll just get on it as soon as I can.
Yeah. All right, straight back in with the aggressive ferocity, sprinting their way up towards the site. Trying to hit that 88 miles an hour, Ben. Emmy on the defense, actually decapitating everyone that comes towards him. 2 kills picked up this far, as it falls back onto Mog and Casa to try and do the rest of the dirty work, but they are having none of it.
Yeah, save is very much needed. The money on the CT side, essentially non-existent. You'll be wondering that quad setup should have done a bit better, all things considered. Like you've got to play on top of the quad, one player under, not even a single kill.
This is one of these games as well where Shaney's actually been very influential in a lot of the rounds, and it's quite nice to see.
It's been quite a balanced, effort from the pensioner side.
Yeah,
because Jake at the end of that last round, he actually did have, I believe, the 2nd most kills in the entire team as well.
18 kills, 89 ADR right now.
Yeah, because I think they're all hovering around 75 to 85, 90, I suppose. And unfortunately couldn't do enough to actually make it that round winnable for his team. And it actually is a force buy from Reflex there into that. So they recognise if we were to lose this round, we'd be at 15. It wouldn't really be worth buying into it. So let's try and make it work now. Luz actually bombarding through the Molotov, and he actually gets that kill.
Just going for it. He's lost an awful lot of health, but definitely gave them a window.
And he's just charging, he's just going.
And running straight into the site. Casa, we need the impact now with the swing around. Doesn't even need the scope on that Orgemi as well. Straight Deegan. We'll find that headshot. They need to recover the bomb. Smuya delves into the smoke, didn't quite grab it, has to go back in for a second attempt. Bunny hops his way back towards the site. Shaney finds the follow-up frag onto JCMX, and it's just Whisk, Casa, and Emmy that are left. This trio here on the CT side. Can they mount this retake, or is it going to be a 15th round? And Pensioners, one round away from booking their tickets to our grand final. If they can take this, they're getting the kills, and it's the one-on-one. Shaney towards Pool, washes over Whisk, and it is the 15th round.
Yeah, all from the back of, Luzza just going for that incredibly aggressive play. Truly believing in his teammate's flashbang right there as well, ultimately. Like, how does that even land? Like,
that is just disgusting.
Smuya, those 2 kills as well, like they were kind of crazy to actually, he willingly accepted, I will probably die to this Molotov, but I need to make sure these kills come through.
Smuya with a spam, not quite getting the kill. JCMX able to overthrow him. Minutes they spent flashed.
Quite a contrast in those 2 figures there as well.
Yeah.
Pensioners was 6 minute 13 and 9:07 for Reflex. 4v5 though. Smuya obviously got taken down at mid. They did actually recover his gun as well. So Pensioners playing it a bit slowly now. JKM trying to get some information towards mid. Whisk has identified though that was quite clearly a fake clear, in the sense that he Molotov then spammed a smoke. That was about it. So you can see the walk off coming from Emmy. Although he's a bit uncertain about it.
This very well could be a Smuya flashlight of 35 seconds this season. Incredible. And let's see if they can have a flashy play into the round. Morg, head just completely exposed, looking to the side. Surreal gets an easy tap off. The site take should be theirs. Shaney assisting Surreal. His Casa will be killed. And this is when Reflex need to do everything in their power. They have one single God Flash left to play with, but JCMX dies for the sake of it being used. Luzza as well with a flick across. It's all up to Emmy, but it cannot be done. The Pensioners will take it 16-5. A rapid state of affairs. They're showing that the confidence was definitely flowing. Shaney there with a little bit of a celebration, Ben, as they have secured themselves a spot in our grand final. Rasta XD back on the map.
To be fair, that is quite the throwback. I mean, that jersey on its own is beautiful.
I know.
It's that Clanbug.
Yeah, yeah. It is vintage. Classic JChem. Vintage Pensioners securing themselves a spot.